this year, a derby driver that we all know is Curtis Young has started taking his steps away from the figure eight and starting to go towards oval track. So, as a friend and as a guy that is kind of wanting to help out, I've decided to sponsor him. I've been helping change out tires for his race car. He had a little bit of a collision there the other day, so we got to straighten out the back rear quarter of his car, and we have to do a motor swap. So that's the next thing we're going to do. He's got an Acura Integra, and we're going to be pulling the motor because the head gasket's gone in it, and we're going to be putting a new motor into it. So basically, I've cleaned out the shop. I got everything I need to do the swap except for the replacement motor. He says it'll be here either tomorrow or Wednesday, which is coming up quick, I guess. So I guess we have to get this motor out. We're going to be changing the clutch, we're going to be bleeding clutches, we're going to be disconnecting wiring harness, rad hoses, all that fun stuff. So let's get that car in here and see what we have to deal with. So basically, this is the car. We will be pulling the motor out of this, so obviously we have to pull all the motor mounts and all that fun stuff. We're going to pull the rad, make sure it's all still good because he has been burning coolant for quite some time. But this is a pretty cool car. He bought it used. It's a former championship car, but it's got no doors. It's got a very simple cage gas tank. Sorry, stock gas tank, battery in the back, tin dash, Lexan windows. But you can tell this car's had a pretty rough life. If you come over here, the whole side of the car has been replaced with sheet metal because the quarter panels are gone. Everything's gone. This is where he got kind of smacked there in one of the last laps, so we're going to see what's involved with fixing this too. We might have to put a new strut, control arm, sway bar mounts, all that fun stuff into the back. But as of right now, what I'm supposed to do is change the motor, put a new clutch, change the bushings on the shifter because the shifter's got play, and then put the new motor back in. I'm not sure if we're using this transmission or if the new motor's coming with the transmission. I'm not sure of that as right now. So, let's see what we can do, I guess. So I've been looking at this car for about 3 minutes now, and I've noticed that the sway bar bushings are missing. Now I don't know if they've actually done that for racing or not. The exhaust is already broken. So that should be easy, just kind of cut the clothesline. Come over to this side. This side here's got the sway bar bushings, but they're rotted. Axle boot is broken, so that's going to eventually put grease on the track so he crashes. Shifter bushing is zip tied through the floor. It's got quite a bit of play on it. He was complaining that this is vibrating quite a bit when he's in there. Heat shield's all hanging down. He doesn't really care about that. Gas tank straps are broken and hanging down, so that will have to be addressed. And on the back here, the lower arm is not bent, the strut is bent, and upper arm is bent. So that doesn't really seem as bad as it is. I kind of thought this lower arm was bent, but when you come over here to the other side, I'm pretty sure that's factory. So that's fine to me. So main things I'm concerned about is gas tank strap because he is doing a race car and running the stock gas tank. Obviously the motor, the shifter bushings, and maybe the driver's side front axle because the passenger side looks like it's fine. And that's the one that usually takes all the stress because that's the one into the corners, right? So we're going to check the ball joints and all that fun stuff as well. We've already got the rad drained. I guess next is engine oil and transmission oil. So we decided to start at the very bottom of this car. I've removed the catalytic converter. I've removed all the shifter linkages, have them out of the way over there on the floor. And I've also pulled these two bolts out of this back motor mount. But I already got the rad hose disconnected. Now we're just going to lower it down so we can pull the axles out. And then once the axles are out, we can make our way up to a little bit taller. We're going to pull this motor mount off as well. Mine as well. Well, we're underneath here, right? But so far so good. Everything's coming apart pretty easy. Cat might be a little bit hard to put back on, so we might just do some kind of straight pipe for there, but we'll see what happens when we get to there. Well, the pile on the floor is getting bigger. We've now added 2 axles to it. The pile of bolts is now getting bigger. We remove those motor mounts, axle nuts. Those are that's the where the passenger driver axle bolts to the motor. Front motor mounts and struts. So we've basically taken everything off the bottom, including these motor mounts here. Pretty much everything's out. Axles are out, struts are all off to the side. Now what we're going to do is we're going to lower this car down, we're going to pull the rad and start disconnecting some of the wiring off of it. All the electrical was connected from both quarters of the strut towers. We disconnected the clutch right down there. This went to the fuse panel, so that's disconnected. Again, all these connections here. Starter's been disconnected. All vacuum lines. I think this is like one of the very last vacuum lines still attached. Fuel lines disconnected. Everything's basically disconnected. I've got all the bolts out of that back motor mount. So my plan is for the motor to come down about 1/2 inch, and then I can wheel it ahead about 3 inches and then bring it down the rest of the way. Even the brake booster is disconnected. It's coming apart pretty good. I've only broke 1 bolt so far, and it was just holding an electrical connector in on the driver's side, so that's not a big deal. Hopefully everything goes smooth here, and we can get this out here in like maybe 4 or 5 minutes. So let's see if we can do this. So this side here, we're going to pull the 2 side mounts first. Maybe step that up to number 2. There we go. Now just do the same to the other one. Don't have a 13mm deep socket apparently, so yay. Okay, now let's undo the last bolt. There, just like I wanted. It came down about 1 inch on this side. Let me just get this out here so I don't lose it. And I dropped a bolt. Awesome. I'll find you in a couple minutes.
Look for it after.
Yep. Now we're over here to the passenger side. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the studs first. And remove the whole stud. I wasn't expecting that. Same as that one. Don't know if they're supposed to come out like that, but they did. And the last one, let's see if she drops. Just about 1 inch, just like I was hoping for. So now let's see if we can pull this thing ahead. So what I want the motor to come ahead about 3 inches. Oh, something's still holding. Oh, the studs didn't clear. That's what it is. So let's come up just a bit. There, those studs are clear now. Now we can worry about that back motor mount. So let's see if we can pull this thing ahead now. There we go. Back motor mount's clear. Final check for electrical. Final check for connections. Everything really looks good. Check the driver's side once more. Everything looks good. Let's get this up. Oh, what's that? Motor mount's catching the intake, so we just have to pull it a little bit farther ahead. I guess we could probably take the motor mount off now, but I really don't think we need to. So can you come down on the hoist? A little bit more. A little bit more. Okay, up. Hey, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. High as it will go. Well, we got this thing out pretty fast. I'm not going to do too much to this just to see what I get as a replacement. If I get one with the motor transmission together, or if I have to take this distributor and put it in the other one. I'm not going to tear this one apart very much more than what it is now. I'm just going to basically put it off to the side, and I'm going to wait for the new motor to show up. So, kind of excited now. That came out a lot easier than I thought. But this is a race car, so a lot of the parts have been taken off and modified for easy use and reuse and change and modify. Thanks for watching Zach's Workshop, and this will be our sponsored race car for this year. And I'll be doing all the tire change. I'll be doing a lot of the mechanical work to this car as well, and hopefully we can keep it on the track and create some positive advertisement for Zach's Workshop maybe. And maybe chalk down some wins. The way that Curtis drives, I know that he'll be pulling out some wins. So just can't wait to see how he does with a new motor that doesn't eat coolant and doesn't bog down once it gets warm. So see you guys tomorrow.